thing I want to talk about, something I wasn't going to speak about, but I want to bring a little light to it, share my 2 cents on the scenario. RIP to the young brother Pop Smoke, who was just 20 years old. Apparently yesterday, there was a home invasion at his home in the Hollywood Hills. The young brother got shot several times and died. People are mentioning how he gave out his address a couple days or a couple hours beforehand. He had a party at his house a couple hours beforehand, so people knew where he was. Really, really unfortunate shit, man. And as I become an older black man, and I begin to look at our people and look at some of the situations we find ourselves in a little bit differently, it saddens me that we even though a lot of us are quote unquote woke, and a lot of us are aware of what we're faced with in this country, and because of that we kind of move a little bit differently. Not enough of us are, man, because again, not a lot of information has been released about this situation. So I'm not just gonna say it was black people who killed him, but I'll be honest, I would say 8 or 9 times out of 10 it probably was somebody black. Now why? We don't know. You feel me? Because sometimes when a brother of ours or a family member of ours, somebody we know, gets shot or is a victim of some sort of violence, we always go to them being the victim and them getting taken advantage of some way, like something nefarious happened, right? And that is the case most of the time, but you got to kind of step back and look. We don't know what he was into. We don't know what was going on behind the scenes, but by just looking at what we see, it looks like somebody was coming to get something from him. Either it was his money, either it was jewelry, either it was car, whatever it may be. Family, we got to get to a point where we look at other black people and not like they food, you feel me? But like they your brother, like they're a companion, like they're a partner of yours. Like we all on the same page to a degree. You see what I'm saying? Because when I see, there's been a lot of deaths involving young black men who are hip hop artists or just young hip hop artists over the past couple years. I mean, a lot. Now, some of them have been due to prescription drugs and people mixing certain drugs and not being aware of how deadly the mixture may be. That's been taking place. But some of this shit has been young black men with pistols shooting other black men over trivial shit, over shit that I know once they get locked up for, once they behind them gates, they're not gonna feel the same way about it. It ain't about, in most cases, it don't look like it's about somebody killing somebody in my family, so I'm going after you. You're touching my daughter or my son, so I'm going after you. Excuse me. Doesn't necessarily look like that be the case a lot of times. So if not, what we talking about? The love of money? What we talking about? Greed? What we talking about? Fucking hatred? We talking about jealousy? We talking about just not liking somebody because they popping? Because the young man, my son is a fan of his music, and I know some other people who listen to his music. I tried to listen to the last album even before this incident took place, and I wasn't the biggest fan of the young brother, and I find myself in that situation a lot with this generation's hip hop, where I may see a young man that I support and I think, I'm happy that he's in a better place financially. I'm happy that he's figured out something he can do that he's passionate about. He can move his family out the hood. He can do different things for his people. I'm happy about that. But, a lot of times I don't be the biggest fan of the music as much as just a fan of the person's moves and how they actually operate, right? But this is another sad case of a young black man dying by the hand of a gun. And when I look at how quick we are to hurt each other, I'm getting a little frustrated by it, because when a racist incident happens and a white man does something to one of us, I don't recall ever, and I can be wrong, but since I've been alive, since I've been a teenager, since I've been aware of what's going on out here, I haven't seen a racist incident take place and somebody in our community who called himself street go out and get the motherfucker who did it. You see what I'm saying? When a little girl come up missing, when there's a church shooting, when there's a George Zimmerman out there, we don't have the same venom for people who harm other people in our community as we do for a motherfucker who we want money from, or a motherfucker who stepped on our shoe, or some frivolous shit like that. You feel me? That's, again, family, that's why I think figuring out a way to teach our youth about history, to teach our youth about knowledge of self, that may be the way out of all this shit, family. Because that young man was 20 years old. It's like some of these young niggas don't get it. That death shit is final, man. That shit is final. And what did you get from him? Let's say they robbed him or did whatever. What did you actually get from him that was worth his life? Nothing. You see what I'm saying? And again, I don't know what personal beefs he was dealing with in the street. This could have had something to do with that. We can't discount that. But at the end of the day, we need to do a better job of how we treat each other. Even on a smaller scale, I'm watching black people tear down Dwayne Wade. I'm watching black people, any celebrity or anybody they don't like, you tearing them down. But when it comes to the white power structure, you ain't really got no smoke for them. You see what I'm saying? We're not really set up mentally to be revolutionary in our fighting and our thinking. This system has fucked us up so much that we look at our brother as the enemy. We look at the people who are in our direct proximity as the enemy. And goddamn, man, when we look at white supremacy and fighting racism, fighting the injustices that are institutionalized and are ingrained in our society, we gotta be honest, black folks, we make it really difficult to fight those things when we can't really get along. We make it really difficult to fight those things when we're constantly fighting each other. Now, that's not everybody, because all of us don't operate like that, but enough of us do it to create high levels of dysfunction in our community. So that's why this Saturday, if you're in the area, come out to the panel discussion, come out and watch the movie. We're going to be discussing these types of things, family. We need to find ways to get into spaces and get around people who are like-minded, people who think the same way you think, so we can start moving in the right direction. Because if we don't, history is going to continually be repeating itself. We're going to continually go through a lot of the same shit we've been going through since we've been here. And me, frankly, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. So my whole thinking is, how can I, as an individual, help my people out? What resources do I have? What mental capacity am I at where I can actually help my people? And I think, that's what I've been attempting to do, man. I'm going to continue to do that until things are better in our community, until things turn around for the better. And, I see sparks of hope, sparks of what could be, but at the end of the day, shit is still fucked up. And if we don't put all hands on deck, or enough hands on deck, because again, it don't have to be all of us for us to revolutionize, because once enough of us get on deck, the people who was kind of wishy-washy, they just gonna come in anyway, you feel me? So RIP to the young brother Pop Smoke. Like I said, I wasn't too familiar with him, but he is a young black man who lost his life by the hands of a gun, and that's some shit we really gotta nip in the bud, you feel me? Now, those are the news stories.